Hello everyone, Virixiss here, and we're going to get into the newest update to Depth called the Void event, which officially launched July 31st. The blurb is, parasitic aliens have arrived on a meteor which crashed into the ocean and are taking control of everything they can. Nicknamed the Void, this scourge earned their name for the bizarre and cosmic appearance their hosts take on after being infected. Sharks and divers alike should swim away as fast as they can, should they run into any Void terrors. The main Hadal drop is the Void Thresher called Scourge. The rest of the drops are very space-agey and alien-looking, including a Mako skin and a Voidish-looking skin for the Volley Jet. We are not going to be spending a whole lot of time on the drops this time because there is much more to talk about in this event. But treasures will drop as per Shark Week, and a gold Void chest dropping instead for every 5th chest reward. This will hopefully be a sign moving forward because I do like the treasure chest event. There is also a competition to choose the next Hadal and Abyssal weapon skins to be released into the game. The winners will be chosen based on a bracket-style elimination, adding the 1st and 2nd place winners into the game. Now, since this is a simple weapon skin and not a game-changing addition, I can't imagine this will cause as much of an uproar over its execution as long as Digital Confectioner sticks to the plan. These are simple skins, it's not like they're adding a whole new weapon. Quests have been added, giving us some meta progression within the game and a chance for new rewards for completing quests. One new quest is earned every day, and up to 3 quests may be active at a time. Quest progress does count even if someone quits from the game before the match properly starts, unlike leaderboard score. This was tested with both Games 1 and the Trapper quests, which I have. This addition to the game will hopefully encourage people to pick it up on a regular basis, especially now that it increases the skin drop rate overall. All of this said, none of it is working properly for me. The Void event is currently unavailable in my client, none of the quests are completing properly even if the requirements have been met, and I have yet to receive a single drop event or otherwise. This event does seem to be extremely busted in terms of its rollout. But that's not the only things that have changed in Void. Other major changes include Bullshark can no longer gain rage while enraged. This should hopefully stop the problem of perma-rage bull sharks that allows them to attack again and again and again with only a few seconds stop in between. Before this change, Bullshark had a basically free Vitalized Frenzy because of his ability was almost completely charged between uses just by playing normally. Instead of the natural ebb and flow of Bullshark play that was intended, this change encouraged outright non-stop aggression that was very difficult to deal with for the average player. Now, we'll have to see how this change affects Bullshark, especially with his current synergy with Vitalized Frenzy and his ability's health gain. Shark evolutions are now categorized based on their main function, such as detection, mobility, and damage. This is nothing more than an aesthetic change, but it looks very nice and won't take long to get used to. And now we get into the more slightly controversial topics. In-level medkits no longer heal divers, but they apply more quickly and still stop bleeding, and all possible medkit spawns will now have a medkit by default instead of random spawn. This is a really strange change, and one that some people have been grumbling about because it seems very out of the blue. Medkits weren't really a big problem in level or deployable, so why change it? Well, this is a pretty direct buff to the deployable medkit, as it is now the only source of diver healing in the game. The random spawning nature of in-level kits used to make a player medkit near useless in some safes, while making it mandatory on others. The only time you figured out which room was which is usually when you have less than 5 seconds to find a medkit. Now that all spawn locations will have medkits, this means that combating bleed is a little more reliable, and since there won't be giant patches of the map without a medkit within reasonable distance. And if you are getting whittled down, then the deployable medkit is now an even safer choice because it will always be useful no matter what room you drop it in. All in all, while this change was completely out of left field, it really doesn't matter too much and is a small buff to an otherwise overlooked diver item. Controller support has been updated to use the Steam Controller API. This is probably one of the largest kerfluffles of the event outside of the event itself just not working. Controller support seems to have been rushed, and the main controller players are not happy with the change, finding it extremely unwieldy and most saying that there isn't enough time devoted to testing and release. Many controller players also feel like their feedback went unanswered, even if the game was giving them difficulty in getting that feedback out. Now, I can't comment much on this, since I don't play much with the controller, but I will say this: the binding panel in-game won't even work for me to see my own controller. Instead, I have to go outside of depth and into Steam to configure the controller from there, and even then, I keep getting the error that Steam configuration has been disabled. I can truly imagine the frustration of controller players, all 7 of them, in light of this new change. Since this isn't a Steam Force change, I do hope the devs roll back this part of the update and put this change back in the oven and wait for more quality feedback from controller players. Now, unfortunately, I have to call a duck and say that the Void event in its current state as of August 2nd is currently fucked. While there are some good changes made, some of the event's happenings are great on paper, none of them work right now, and that's a pretty big honking failure. With some luck, Digital Confectioners can get this stuff ironed out, but we still haven't heard anything about the status of the fixes, and it is in the middle of the work week. I'll probably post an update video if and when these problems are addressed to talk about how this event works in practice. Until then, I'll see you guys in the water. Bye-bye.